Every year in the NFL, it's a new team. As far as goals go, we have one. Putting a f***ing ring on our finger.
Welcome to the Buccaneers Observer Podcast. This is Ralph Phillips.
I'm Molly Bay.
Today is, it doesn't matter. It don't matter what today is. It's Super Bowl champions till September, whenever the first game is.
I don't know. Then we're just like defending champs.
Well, we're Super Bowl champs until we're defending Super Bowl champs.
Yeah, that's true.
I
Okay.
guess.
All right.
The point being,
Fair enough.
every day is a celebration day until September next year. How about that? Now, today is February 9th, 2021. 2 days removed from us beating the mess out of the Chiefs in the Super Bowl, embarrassing them in front of the world.
It was not even close.
It wasn't even close. And hey, if you watch this podcast, listen to us, know anything about us at all, you know what's coming. You know what's coming.
I told you. We're so obnoxious. Like everyone just turn it off right now.
Hey, whatever. They missing out. They're missing out. Molly had said, what was it? Like 2 days after we won the NFC Championship, you came to me, you said, we're going to beat the mess out of the Chiefs.
It's not going to be close.
Not even close. Now, when she does that, she does this very rarely, where she like really puts herself out there and says, this is, I've got a feeling or whatever. It wasn't really much of a feeling as much as you watch games and stuff and you just came to the conclusion. You were like, yeah, we're going to beat the mess out of them.
Yeah.
So I took that dead serious and I sat down and I watched every single game, all 22 that Patrick Mahomes has played. And I came away with the same conclusion. Now, you listen to our podcast on our prediction of the Super Bowl. What was your score prediction?
Oh, hold on. Oh, I got to find it. Oh, goodness.
Look,
I'm not
we're
prepared.
not even talking about the team.
I
We're talking
know.
about how great we are.
How great. Okay, I said 33-21, and you said 42-28.
Yes,
So.
that's right. We both said a beatdown. So
But we gave the Chiefs more credit.
way more credit. It was worse and more of a beatdown than we even expected.
Yeah, it was worse than I thought.
Yeah.
I predicted 3 scores. I thought they would be touchdowns. They were not.
Like a dummy, I gave them 4 touchdowns.
I know.
They got 3 field goals. Oh my God. It was beautiful. It was glorious. And let's get back on how awesome we are again.
Okay, let's do that.
Everybody in Bucs media picked the Bucs to win. And I think most of them did it begrudgingly. They knew they couldn't not pick the Bucs to win, right? But they were like, oh, it's going to be a close game, 34-31, 28-31, something like that. We are the only ones who said this was going to be a beatdown by the Buccaneers. So, take that with what you will. What it says to me as either we know our stuff better than everybody else or everybody else just sucks. They just, I think it's a combination of the two.
Yeah.
We're watching, before the game, we're watching all the pregame stuff. I had it on all day long.
Do these people watch football? I just don't.
That's what the whole time I kept going to Molly. I'd be like, Molly, are you hearing this? These people don't watch football. They don't know what's going on. They're not prepared for what's coming. And I was like, hopefully the Chiefs are the same way. And obviously they were. My God, what a beatdown that was. What a beatdown. It started off from the get-go.
Well, and the Bucs offense started off slow too. So you're like, oh, is this going to be a defensive thing? Mm-hmm. Or is it just the offenses need some time to get into a rhythm? And fortunately for us, the Bucs did get into a rhythm, but the Chiefs, again, fortunately for us,
they got into a rhythm.
Ever.
It was a drumming by the Buccaneers. That was the only rhythm they could play. My favorite meme of this, Molly sent it to me today, was, what did it say? It said, this is how Super Bowl 55 went. And it showed Patrick Mahomes out there and no
against our defense.
Buccaneers. Yeah, our whole defense was
lined up. It was just Pat Mahomes.
That's exactly how it went. Beat down.
whoa.
Beat down.
It was so bad. I just did not. You just thought, I mean, they're just a year removed from being in the same place. And so you just thought, they're going to do something. I mean, they're a hard team to beat. We lost to them in the season. And so it just felt like there was always that chance that they could come back.
Yeah, that's what they normally do.
Yeah.
That's what they normally do. They get down 2-3 scores and then just
No, not like this though.
No.
Not
this
like
is
I don't know that they've ever experienced getting the shit beat out of them like we did.
No, this is the first time in Patrick Mahomes' football career in the NFL where he has not thrown a touchdown in a game. It was just a total beatdown.
Bucs fans were the only ones having fun watching this game. I mean, Chiefs fans obviously not having fun. But someone said to me today, they were like, if you weren't a fan of either team, like it was kind of boring.
Yeah.
So one-sided.
Yeah, and I do want to touch on that a little bit, but let's get some excitement out of the way here first. Yeah.
I don't hate that because I'm a Bucs fan, so it was great for me. I mean, we were just dominant. Like, nobody thought that we were going to win. I mean, most national media, they were picking the Chiefs.
Yeah.
That whole storyline, the whole freaking 2 weeks leading up to it was passing the torch. Who's the GOAT?
Ridiculousness.
Do they just need stuff to talk about? Is that all it is?
Yes, I'm telling you. It's me and you talk about this a lot, the difference between character and personality. And that's what we're seeing in the NFL. There's a huge deficit of good teams in the NFL. You look at, the Drew Breeses, the Andrew Lucks, the Tom Brady's, the Aaron Rodgers, the Matt Ryans, they're gone. They're leaving. The only ones left really is going to be Aaron Rodgers and Tom Brady.
Phillip
we
Rivers.
lost Phillip Rivers.
Yeah.
All these old school, true mechanic, precision guys are gone. Now what's coming in their place are these gimmicky throw-in, finesse, run-in. These guys that aren't spending any time like building the fundamentals. The Jameis Winstons. Yeah, that was Jameis Winston's problem. I mean, he was a great quarterback. He had, he had the arm, he had the scrambling ability, but he just couldn't not be a playmaker. He always wanted to be the highlight plays. He always wanted to be on the front of the box of the EA Sports, on the Wheaties box and all that stuff. And it seems like to me that that's what these guys are shooting for. They're almost like Instagram famous. Everybody wants to be, the pizzazz, the what's happening. And then you look at Tom Brady. This is a guy who has spent his entire career mastering sitting in the pocket. He ain't worried about running. He ain't worried about throwing it underhand or, off his back or anything like that. He has mastered the fundamentals of playing quarterback better than anybody that's been in the league ever. And it shows. He's got 7 rings for it. He's been in the Super Bowl 10 times. Patrick Mahomes is never going to get there. He's never going to get there. Nobody will.
Nobody can.
True. But I mean, yeah, if they were to start now, it'd be 20 years from now before somebody could possibly catch up to Brady. And the only way you're going to be able to do it is to, just grind out these fundamentals, man. That's what makes Brady great. I mean, he's got a great arm. He's extremely accurate, but he's accurate because he's always in the correct position to throw the ball every single time.
That point really got driven home for me when on YouTube, The Quarterback School, we watched him analyze Colin Kaepernick's workout that he did in Atlanta. And, he supported Kaepernick and he said, I believe in what he's doing. I believe he got blackballed by the NFL. But, which he didn't say that till the end, but just analyzing his mechanics. And he's like, every time you're dropping back a different way. You're moving your feet a different way. You have, all these things. And that's what really drove it home for me, how important just working on your craft and practice and the consistency. Yeah. And that's what the quarterback school said. It's what JT O'Sullivan, former NFL quarterback. Breaks down film. If you guys haven't watched him, you should watch him. But that's what he said. You have to have that consistency in the league, and especially to have the kind of longevity that Tom Brady has.
Right. But it's boring. It is very boring. Tom Brady's a boring quarterback to watch. The Patriots were boring to watch. And like you said, people watching this, they're like, it's boring. Unless you're a Buccaneers fan. Yeah, it is boring. It's boring to do the right stuff. And that's why you get all these media people, they want this dynamic, the Patrick Mahomes, the Copernics, the RG3s, the Tim Tebow's, the Johnny Football, the Manziels, these guys that, they're not really quarterbacks. They're show. They're show ponies, and they're good for a few years. Like Cam Newton. Cam Newton took the league by storm, but then just fell on his face in the Super Bowl. And since then, he's just sucked. He just sucks, because everybody learned that, he was one trick pony. He was, his show pony skills only last a few years. That's the reason why Tom Brady has gone as far as he has, because he's not shooting for the show pony stuff. He's shooting for the workhorse, the mule, the Clydesdale. He's every day he's out there, working on the millimeters of, what was it he talked about? Oh, no, that was Aaron Rodgers talking about watching his game film from a couple years ago. And he was like, I noticed when I dropped back on my, and I did my first hitch, I wasn't dropping my hips far, and it's that type of stuff that makes a great quarterback, And, you got Patrick Mahomes. I sat there and I watched every single game that he's played in the NFL, watched all 22. And I was just amazed. I was like, how is this guy winning games? Their offense seemed to be, let's just throw enough crap against the wall and something will stick. And that's what would happen. Stuff would stick during the game and they'd end up winning.
Yeah.
But it wasn't, it just isn't, I don't know. There's no longevity there.
No.
It's not going to be, this might be it. I mean, who knows? I mean, they fell on their face. And like you said, this is the worst game he's probably ever had, and he did it on the biggest stage. It's hard to come back from that, man. I mean, you have to have serious, strong character to come back from that. We'll see if he's got it.
Well, I watched his post-game press conference today, and I will say he handled it with so much grace and humility, and I was really impressed in that respect. The reporters gave him every opportunity to blame everything else, like his foot and, the penalties and this and that, and he just wasn't, he wouldn't take it. He was like, my foot was bothering me in the championship, and I played through it, and we won the game. So no, I can't put it on my foot, And so I had a lot of respect for him for handling it the way that he did.
Yes. I think he's a great guy. I mean, he seems to be great. And I would really like to see him. I think if he did buckle down and start worrying about being a pocket passer and getting the fundamentals down, it might take a couple years for him to, get to the winning level he's at now. But the league is just so... we have it's too much pizzazz. We've pushed the league to be scoring. We've got all these rules about offense, helping the offense. We push these guys to be running quarterbacks and these tricksters and all that good stuff. And it's taken away from the game in the sense, it reminds me of boxing. Boxing is, an old sport. There's really only one way to win, and that's just to be able to take a punch better than your opponent and be able to give a punch better than your opponent. That's really all there is to it. But then every now and then you'll have guys come in like Muhammad Ali or Sugar Ray Leonard or, who was that guy? I met him at the restaurant down here. Anyhow, these guys that, they come in and they're all pizzazz and flashy and, could jump around and, have their defense down and, the counter punches and all that good stuff. And they'll take people, and they'll win because it's, the sport really wasn't set up for that type of stuff. So, they caught people off guard and everything. But when it comes down to it, it's the the Mike Tysons, the Oscar De La Hoyas, the my favorite boxer of all time. I can't remember his name.
I said it'll come to you.
Yeah, it'll come to me in a
midnight.
Yeah, these guys that just, singular focus. They worked on one thing and mastered it, and just, eventually they're just going to beat you down in the dirt with it. You might get them every now and then, but they are going to beat you in the dirt with the fundamentals. And with football, it's gotten so far away from fundamentals, man, so far. Like the Kansas City Chiefs, they're a big trick play offense. Their defense is all about being tricky. And, their quarterback is all about being tricky, and the receivers are the only person on that team, I would say, on the offense, who I felt is a tough football player, and we have taken toughness out of the sport a lot.
Mm-hmm.
It's Travis Kelce. Now, he's a tough football
Oh,
player.
yeah. And he was their leading receiver. He had like 133 yards.
Yeah,
I mean...
Yeah. You could put Travis Kelce on the New York Jets, and he's going to get 100-yard games.
Yeah.
He's a tough, he's going to go out there and do what needs to be done, and, get up in your face and all that good stuff. But, with our team, I was sad when it was over. I was extremely elated. I was up till 3:00 at night, just pacing and talking, and we were extremely drunk. We
were taking touchdown shots, but like by the end of it, very quietly, because there was a Chiefs fan in the bar, and she was so nice. She was the nicest lady. This is the woman in sports thing. Like I felt bad for her. I'm like, okay, let's do our shots, but like, don't be too loud, guys. Don't celebrate too much. We might make her sadder.
Yeah.
And she ended up leaving.
Yeah, she left about midway through the third quarter, I think.
Yeah.
I'm not exactly sure when she left, but I heard that midway through the third quarter is when everybody kind of just knew the game was over.
Yeah.
People fell asleep at home. People turned the television off, whatever.
Yeah.
But, the next day I was still elated, but then again, it starts to hit you. Football's over. No more football.
And I feel this way every year at the end of every year. And sometimes it's sadder than other years because, our coach is getting fired and most of this team is gone. I mean, that's the reality of being a Buccaneers fan the last 18 years. Mm. But this year, and I always have an attachment to every team, and I'm always sad when it's over because I'm like, we will not have this team next year. Like, we might be mostly intact, but there are guys who aren't going to make it. It's like going into this season, it was like we lost Carl Nassib, and the year before it was Adam Humphries, so that always seems to happen. But I just feel like this team is so special, and a lot of it because of what they've accomplished, but I just feel like they have come together so much as a group, and they just have, and this is where I feel like we had an edge over the Chiefs, was that it's kind of what you were saying with that toughness, but it's this team has like a culture of toughness. Like they compete with each other, and but like for each other too. Like they're balling on the field for each other. Like you can just tell they have this rapport and this bond. It's like Mike Evans saying that he would take less money if it meant that they could bring more guys back. I mean, how many NFL stars are going to do that? Like not many. Like, do you think Ezekiel Elliott is doing that? No, he's holding out every off season. Right. So, but then I also feel like this team is tough in, like, it seems like, particularly in this postseason, they have remembered every slight from the season. And at the time, you could not tell at all that they took exception to it or that it bothered them. But it came out this postseason. Yeah. And they have been, it's like they were just waiting for the opportunity to get some vengeance and to prove themselves. And they were going to rub it in your face. You disrespected them, initially, and they took it in stride, and they were just waiting for their opportunity to prove you wrong.
Yes. Yeah,
Like
it was.
that.
Yeah, the peace sign.
The piece of
Or the two. It was the two. That was awesome. And I was like, yeah, take the penalty.
I didn't even care.
That's a beautiful penalty right there. Yeah, and here's the thing about this team. The whole NFL is in shock and are sweating because this team is coming back intact next year. To large part, I mean, 80% intact at least.
Yeah, we're gonna get guys that take less money to come back.
Right. Yeah, everybody's going to sacrifice to get back on this team, and the NFL is not prepared for this team. This goes back to what I was saying earlier. The NFL, there's just not a lot of good teams. And when I say not a lot of good teams, there's not a lot of there's a lot of good players, and there's a lot of good players that make teams good, but there's not a lot of good teams. And we are a good team with a lot of good players. There's nobody in the league that's even close to us. Second place is way down the list.
It's the Kansas City Chiefs. I mean, they are 31st in the league.
Yeah, exactly. And we didn't have a preseason or nothing, but basically the first 4 games of us was our preseason. And plus we were learning, everybody's been through all this before, but Tom Brady was learning a completely different offensive style and language and everything. He had new players, first time in 20 years. I mean, that'd be like you switching your career, and having to go learn a job in Spanish, in a few months.
And then becoming the CEO of the company
Right.
within your first year.
So, the rest of the league is just sitting there going, crap. Oh, crap. Oh, my God. Shit. How are we going to stop this?
No team more so than the New Orleans Saints.
Well, yeah, they're done.
Yeah.
If Drew Brees ain't coming back, they're done. And he is the linchpin of their team.
Well, and I don't think they have any money to pay anybody,
No.
and especially with the salary cap going down.
Yeah, they're going to be a disaster. So, yeah, I mean, we're just going to roll over our division. That's going to be like 6 easy wins. So, yeah, next year it's going to be better than this year for the Buccaneers. Yeah, we're going to the Super Bowl game. We're going to win it again. And I can't see I don't know when in the future we're not going to win it. There's not a team that's close to us. It's insane. Like I said, watching the Kansas City Chiefs, I was watching them. I was like, nobody can stop these guys, but it just seems like, I don't want to say luck, but it's just that they just throw enough crap against the wall and something eventually sticks. It's like, that's not a way to run a football team, if you ask me.
I mean, that's not the sport, I mean, it's the sport is mastering your craft and putting together a cohesive game plan and not just relying on your pure talent. I mean, this is one of the things that separates football from other sports, that it's a lot of strategy and it's about the matchups and teamwork. Figure out where you have an advantage over your opponent. I mean, there's so much that goes in. It's so complex and there's so much that goes into it. And so you can't rely on gimmicks and expect to be a winner consistently.
No. And that's what seems like most teams are doing. They're relying on a few good players and, it's just, I don't know.
Well, I think the shelf life of a good team is so short.
Yeah.
And like this day and age, you have first of all, coaches have a very short shelf life. If you're not succeeding, you're gone in 2 years.
Right.
So you've got that. And then you also have, how long do you get a quarterback who has success, who once you get enough film on him, you can't beat. And that's what tends to happen, particularly with these running quarterbacks.
Yes. And, it just makes for like you said, a lot of flash in the pan stuff, and you have just total teams, franchises that have just been built around this, foundations of sand, and it kind of hurts because you look at the game, the Super Bowl. Gronkowski got 2 touchdowns. Antonio Brown got a touchdown, and Leonard Fournette got a touchdown. That was 4 free agents that we got this year, right? But it was the foundation of our team, our defensive line, and our cornerbacks that made this game what it was.
They won this game for us.
Yeah. And our offensive line and our, it was definitely a team thing, but it made it look like they were the free agents were the reason why we got here, but they weren't. I mean, yes, Tom Brady's definitely the reason, but we could have done it without Gronk. We could have done it with Antonio Brown. We would have done it without Fournette. And it kind of hurt me that Mike Evans didn't get a touchdown, or Godwin, or Scotty Miller, or Brait. I wanted to see those guys get a touchdown, but I think we could have passed out touchdowns like candy in this game. We stopped at 31 and just kind of went, let's just kind of run out the clock a little bit. We could have just kept scoring and scoring and scoring. They had no answer for us on offense or defense. Oh my God. But it does give the impression to anybody that doesn't know the Buccaneers that we are kind of a flash in the pan. We built our team through free agents, and we even had one of our listeners ask us about that, how we felt about this being a free agent team as opposed to a homegrown, ground up team. And I felt like it was a combination, that we have a very solid base of homegrown drafted guys.
Oh, absolutely. That we've been building for a few. I mean, our whole defense,
most
basically.
of our offensive line, our whole defense.
The receiving core.
Yeah. Right. Our receiving core. So, it kind of, you go, casual fans are going to say, we basically bought the Super Bowl. We hired a bunch of mercenaries, but that's nowhere near the truth, man. I mean, we have a strong foundation. We built a house here that it's going to be a long, many, many years before this house is ready for demolition. We're just now starting. We're just now starting to be the team that we are going to be. Awesomeness. There's nobody in the league. Nobody is even close to what we have. And we're going to be copied. If everybody's going to copy everything we did in this Super Bowl, which is cool because we did sound fundamental stuff. We weren't out there tricking people or flashing. Well, our defense was doing a lot of weird stuff in the secondary, our coverage and everything. But we've always done that, since Bowles has been here. And but it was sound tackling, sound blocking, great route running, good offensive designs. Tom Brady just staying in the pocket and throwing precise throws to,
I just felt like it was good, solid football by the Buccaneers in every respect.
Yeah. Well, before the game, there was an article or somebody on one of the talking heads in the national media said the Buccaneers and the Saints, or the Buccaneers and the Chiefs, are pretty much the same team. And I was like, what? That was another one of those. Do they even watch the games? We are so polar opposite, on our defense and our offense than them. We're the exact opposite. It was really a good clash of you fight a boxer, you box a fighter. I mean, it was a very fundamental team against a flashy, try to trick you, pizzazz team. Guys that tackle good against, guys
speed.
Against speed.
Yeah.
Right. Very physical. We were very physical. From the kickoff. First kickoff, we were physical. Much more physical than them. We had a lot more energy too. I've been watching All 22. I'll have the first Tiffy video out tomorrow. Lots of stuff, lots of fun stuff. Just right off the bat, Jensen he got up in 55's face, Clark, and started jawing. They were pushing each other, and Jensen headbutted him.
What?
Yeah.
He didn't get called for it?
No. It was kind of off to the side. But, it was just like that headbutt that he got called for in the, what was it, the Saints game? Where you just kind of leaned forward.
Yeah.
Yeah, but they were going at it right from the get-go. I was like,
my goodness. What do you think about the penalties?
A couple of them, I would be mad if I was Chiefs fans. Yeah.
I did not like that Mike Evans called that pass interference where their feet kind of got tangled. I didn't like that one.
It looked to me like Mike sold it.
Oh, hell yeah, he did. Yeah. And he even said as much later in the after post-game interview on the NFL Network.
When he was wearing that cool dinner jacket?
Yeah, I love that jacket. Awesome, yeah, it was cool. Black and red. Yeah. It was cool. But they said, you only got one catch. And he goes, excuse me, what about all the penalties? Yeah. That should count for something.
I can draw them penalties. He does, man.
But, that's the mark of a good receiver. Any good receiver is going to do that, especially one that's very physical as he is.
Yeah, there was a couple calls by the refs. I was just kind of like, I don't know. But that wasn't the difference in the game. It wouldn't have made a difference.
Exactly. Like they did have 120 yards in penalty yardage.
They could have had 0.
So there's that. I know.
Penalty yards.
I know.
It was a beat down coming. There was nothing they could have done.
I know.
About it.
I know.
Oh, their offense. And everybody's talking about their offensive line, and it doesn't matter. It didn't stand. I know. Yeah. It didn't stand a chance.
Mm-mm.
No, our guys were gearing to go.
Oh my gosh!
And everybody played great. I'm excited to see, the all 22 go all the way through it and see if it's as good as I thought it was. Did they make a lot of mistakes? How many mistakes did we make? Blah, blah, blah.
I just felt like there was just nothing that they could do. No. Like they were like our defense was just so dominant, and they just didn't have a chance. And statistically, Pat Mahomes put up nearly the same as Tom Brady as far as like yardage goes. He did throw 2 interceptions, so there's that. And had no touchdowns. And then I can't remember how many sacks he had. Not that many, but he was he was just running for dear life. Oh, he had 3 sacks. He got sacked 3 times. But that doesn't even count all the times he threw it. How many?
No, he was pressured like 32. I know. Like over half.
Like 35 times. Yeah, he was pressured.
Had 10 hits, I think it was. Something like that.
Yeah, 10 quarterback hits.
Yeah.
For the Bucs defense. And then 35 pressures per Pro Football Focus.
Yeah, the defense, Todd Bowles just did a great job.
He figured something out.
Up. Yeah.
Didn't he do what you said to do?
Mm-hmm. Yep. I was getting ready to get to that. Talk about how great I am. Yeah, right away, I sat there and I watched that. They were playing man coverage, 2 high safeties. I was like, oh my God. And we shut them down immediately because they tried to do an RPO. I think it was the second play of the game. They tried to do an RPO, and Barrett masterfully faked out Mahomes, because Mahomes was keying on Barrett depending on what Barrett did. If Barrett went for the run, then he was going to pass it. And if Barrett went for the pass, if Barrett would have gone for the quarterback, then he would have handed it off. So Barrett acted like he was going for the run, and as soon as Mahomes pulled that ball out to pass it, Barrett turned and went straight for the quarterback. I was like, yes! But then we were also baiting him to throw it to the outside.
That is what you said.
Yes. We did. Yes. It was. Yeah. I was so thrilled. I was so happy that they did what I told them to do. But yeah, the wide receiver was staying there. The cornerback was standing, covering about 10 yards off the ball. And Mahomes was just salivating to throw it over there. You could tell. And so he hikes the ball. He goes back, does the RPO, and he goes to throw it, because you have to do it real quick. You have to throw it real quick. And about the time he got to stepping back in his throwing motion, and Barrett was just steaming down on him, he looked up, and there's the cornerback running up. He was going to undercut that throw. Yeah, he was. It would have been a pick 6 if he would have thrown it. Yeah, and he went to throw it, and he went, oh crap, and then he pulled it, and Barrett chased him.
Well,
around
good decision making there. Well, kind of. You run for your life.
Yeah, he was screwed. It's about every time we shut him down with all of his.
I know.
Yeah, and we did what I said to do. Don't worry about trying to contain him. We're fast.
Yeah, we just got after it. Yeah, he did have some good runs. I think he was their second leading rusher. Mm-hmm. He had I forget how many yards he had. Hold on. I have it right here. Yeah, statistically, they did. Yeah, he had 33 yards.
And he got 12 of that on the first play.
I know. He had 5 carries. And then Edwards-Helaire had 64 yards. So they did have 107 yards total.
Rushing?
Yeah. I know. I'm like, whatever.
Yeah, our run game was good too. That Fournette touchdown was beautiful. He's been a great addition to this team in so many different ways.
I know. It's like a two-headed dragon because he got 89 yards and a touchdown, and Rojo has 61. You're like, you can't at 140 plus yards between the two of them. Mm-hmm. Okay, thank you.
Right. You're just like, oh.
Like, who are you gonna stop? You can't stop them. Neither one of them.
Yeah, great game, man. Great game. We just played great all the way around. I didn't see any weaknesses. Even our special teams looked like they stepped it up.
Jaden Mickens. That initial return, he was in the end zone.
Yeah, he was running it out of the end zone. I love that. I was like,
yes. I get so nervous though, right there. I'm like, oh my God, a fumble. Yeah. That's like, oh my. And I probably should not think that. I'm gonna jinx it one day, and I'm gonna be like, it's my fault. That's on me, guys. Sorry. But that first return, he's running it out. And I was like, no. It's okay, though. He got to the 30, 28, something like that.
Yeah, something like that. But I was more impressed with we didn't allow them to have any returns.
I know.
That's what I was worried about.
Because that Mecole Hardman is very fast.
Yeah.
And it was funny, you had talked about how Jamel Dean was as fast as Tyreek Hill. Mm-hmm. And there was one play where he was going step for step with Mecole Hardman. Mm-hmm. And I was like, wow, okay, he is fast.
Yeah. And Mahomes threw it to Hardman, and Dean was right there. Literally, you could almost not see Hardman because Dean was right beside him. Hardman looked like his shadow.
Yeah.
It was like, if you didn't know that there was a Kansas City Chief player there, you wouldn't have known there was a Kansas City because you couldn't see him. Jamal Dean was there. And it ended up being incomplete. But yeah, I'm excited about looking at that on the game film too, and how Dean was used. He's not on the field all the time. He normally plays 50%, 60% of the snaps. But I want to see if we did have him out there with Hill any, and see if he kept up with him. But yeah, he kept up with Harmon. No problem. Yeah. He actually looked like he was just kind of strolling. He was like looking around, just like,
this is consistently, that is how he always looks. Like he doesn't even try. Like even when he's defending a pass, he just kind of like swats at it, like kind of lazily. I don't know. It's like it's so weird. Like he just looks like he's giving no effort, but he's successful.
He doesn't look like he's running fast.
Yeah.
But he's keeping up with guys that are just like, and he's just like, what is it you call it? A baby giraffe, a gazelle? He's just like,
yeah.
So yeah, that was exciting. Our secondary did a great job, I thought.
Yeah.
I can't wait to look at it on the All-22 to see how it really turned out. But yeah, and Todd Bowles did it just masterful. He was throwing so much stuff at so many different looks and things that, Mahomes, but he looked confused. Besides the fact that he was running around, for his life, he looked like when he looked down the field, he was just confused. Like he was like, I don't know where to throw the ball. Yes. And then when he did throw it, it was just throwing something up against the wall, see what would stick. Mm-hmm. And we'd bat it down or whatever. Levante David had a couple good pass defenses on Kelsey. That was beautiful. And I noticed this too. We were hitting these guys. We were being physical with them.
Oh, yeah. And we were swarming them, too. Mm-hmm. It's like anytime someone caught the ball, there was one guy there who was covering him, and then five more. Just appeared out of nowhere.
They're like teleporting there.
Yeah.
And, if the first guy didn't get you completely, you were just getting ready to get hit with five guys. But I noticed it was having an effect on the receivers. And that's old school football right there. These guys were getting scared to catch the ball, because we were hitting them when they did.
I love that.
Yeah. And it surprised me. I saw Kelsey drop one where you could tell he felt David coming straight at him. He was just like,
he didn't want to get hit.
No. And that's surprising because that's Kelsey. He's tough.
Yeah, and he's a big guy.
He's a big
He's
dude.
huge.
Yeah, but David was beating him up all night.
I love it.
Yeah.
I loved, okay, someone comment below if you know the answer to this. In all the videos afterwards, they all had those ski goggles on.
What was that about?
What was that?
Yeah.
I don't know. Was it just a thing they all had? Because they all had different colored ones. And
Yeah, some were Oakleys, some were Nikes.
yeah. My favorite video, I think, wasn't it Devin White with the big ski goggles on? And he's standing with Mike Evans. And they're going, "You the best. No, you're the best. No, we the best." I love all those. Yeah. And then Jensen. My favorite one. Yep. Jensen and his little boy walking across the field, and his little boy puts on the helmet. It reminds me of Drew Brees. Remember when they won the Super Bowl and his little boy was there, and there's all these like iconic pictures and stuff. That's what it reminds me of. I'll always think of that. He was so cute with the big old helmet on. It's like
he
a
was running down
bobblehead.
the field. Yeah, and,
falling over.
Yeah, and then he fell at the 50-yard line. That was just heartwarming.
Yeah.
This was just one of those videos where you can't help but smile.
Yeah.
But then my favorite thing was Ryan Jensen showing up pregame. Everybody's wearing, they're decked out in their finest.
And he's got a jacket. He's got a blazer on. Yeah.
And with a T-shirt underneath it with a picture of Tom Brady's draft picture in his underwear.
He's got the grandpa boxers, standard issue at any nursing home.
It's like the classic Brady picture. And Jensen
bad
was wearing
budding.
that. And did you notice that on the last victory formation, after we snapped it, when it was over and everything, Jensen and Brady turned around and hugged each other. That was the first one. They've got a real good bond.
A good bond.
Yeah.
Well, it was interesting in the speech that Tom Brady gave. First of all, I want to point out that in the ceremony, they let the Glazers talk, they let Bruce Arians talk, and then they skipped to Brady. They did not let Jason Light say anything, which I took exception to that. Yeah.
That was that stupid announcer, which he was wearing that mask. He's like a journalist,
isn't he?
He was,
He was kind of interviewing them as, instead of just emceeing the thing. I don't know. And
he was wearing
that
mask muzzle. I couldn't hear what he was saying. Even Tom Brady said something to him. It was like, dude, get closer. I can't understand you.
Yeah.
I mean, he sounded like Bane. Y'all won the Super Bowl. So, but yeah, they passed the trophy from the Glazers to Arians. And then Arians got up, he said something. And then Arians turned around and handed it to Jason Light. And Jason Light, was standing there and he was saying something. And the announcer dude was like, give that trophy to Tom Brady so we can talk to him. I was like, you jerk.
I know.
You don't know, maybe, Jason Light's known to not really like getting up in front of talking to people.
Oh.
So maybe they had said something beforehand like, maybe Jason didn't want to. But I felt like.
Yeah, it felt wrong.
Yeah, if anybody needs to get as much credit as you can give anybody, it's Jason Light, man.
He at the very least should have been acknowledged. Maybe he didn't want to get up there to say something, but you should have just acknowledged that all of this happened because of him.
Yes.
He was a huge part of that.
He's the reason why we got Bruce Arians. He's the reason why we got Tom Brady. It's just...
Our drafts have been phenomenal in the last few years.
Devin White.
I know. I mean the whole secondary.
Yeah.
Leonard Fournette.
He built this team.
Rojo.
So...
all our offensive linemen, everyone. But Tom Brady's speech, if you listen to it, the announcer, being the jackal that he was just trying to make it all about Tom. And all Tom would talk about was the team. He was just talking to the team. And it's funny because everyone's talking about this speech that Tom gave. It was a players only speech in the locker room before the game, and all the journalists are talking. The players kept talking about it, so then the journalists were tweeting about it, and then Devin White even added the Buccaneers social media and said, "Hey, can you get a video of the speech? Do you have a video of the speech? Like, you need to post it." I was like, I wish they had that. I know. It was crazy to me. I'm like, wow. Like normally I find the speeches like kind of lame. I know it's a part of the whole thing, but for it to be that impactful for the team, I think it would be worth hearing. It would be interesting to know what it was that he said, because whatever he said, it worked.
Yeah. I don't know if that's what made them as great as they are, but yeah, it didn't hurt. That's for sure.
Yeah.
But, you know, Tom Brady, he could get out there and said, eat glazed donuts. And everybody would have been like, touch Tom Brady. That's an awesome speech. Just because it's Tom Brady, it's going to be an awesome speech, probably. But yeah, I want to hear it too.
Yeah.
I love good speeches.
For posterity. It would be nice.
Yeah. I've got $600 worth of stuff in my shopping cart on NFLshop.com. The Buccaneers gear, Super Bowl gear.
The Super Bowl gear. We got to buy some gear.
It's like, I've spent way too much this year anyhow. I don't need to be
You say that every year.
I know.
This is special. It's different.
This is different. That's right. That's, you know, the thing, we need to just get used to this because we got another year of this minimum. Minimum. You know, and if we could get a quarterback behind Brady
I know.
Nobody will ever be Brady again, I don't think, but if we get a quarterback that can, you know, just
sit back and learn from him.
Yeah.
That's all I want.
Yeah.
Just learn.
Then this could go on for a long time.
Yeah.
You know,
I mean, look at the Packers. They had Brett Favre and then got Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah.
Have had decades of not worrying about their quarterback.
Yeah. I know. Never had to worry about that, or never had that feeling before. This is the first time I've been like, wow, we're going into next year with the best quarterback in the league.
I know. There's like no question. He got through Breeze. He got through Aaron Rodgers, and he got through Patrick Mahomes.
Yeah, we've ripped through everybody. That's never happened before. Where a team has gone through that type of competition to get to the top. You know, we beat. I know. That was three Super Bowl champs. We beat 3 Super Bowl champs to get to the Super Bowl.
And our toughest opponent during the playoffs was the Washington football team. Like, we had the hardest time with them.
I can't believe Chase Young got Defensive Rookie of the Year.
Oh, that bastard. You know, all this stuff is such bullshit. Like,
I know.
We got, like, 1 Pro Bowler. We got no All-Pro. You know, it's like, get out of here.
It was disgusting to me that we only had 1 Pro Bowl guy. I mean, JPP definitely deserved it.
Absolutely.
All credit to him.
No question.
Which I noticed they double-teamed him a lot in this game. Yeah, they had a tight end or a fullback.
How do you double? I watched Vita Vea get through 3 linemen at one point. Mm-hmm. He was just so ridiculous.
We were just throwing linemen around.
Oh my God. It was sad. And there's that one picture of Pat Mahomes with Devin White on top of him, JPP underneath of him, and he's like bent like a pretzel. It was just, Pat Mahomes, was bent like a pretzel. Yeah. It was, oh,
yeah, he was hurting after that game for sure.
Mm-hmm. Oh, he's getting surgery on his foot.
Yeah. Oh, that's, he might have to become more of a pocket passer. You can't rely on that stuff, man. But yeah, so the JPP is the only. But let's think about this. Our football, that just goes to show how crappy all these talking heads and voters and pundits and all they are. They go to the shiny objects. We're not a flashy team. We don't have the Instagram followers that you gotta have nowadays or whatever. We just go in there and we grind it out. And one Pro Bowler? Come on, man. No, all pro.
I know.
No, it didn't Sue. He's all decade.
I think didn't Levante get second team all pro?
I don't know, but
I can't remember.
It's those things.
I know.
Popularity contests. They're retarded. They're stupid. I don't.
But it just goes to show how fucking stupid they are.
Yes, it really does.
Like, they are absolutely meaningless. You got 6 Pro Bowls. I don't give a shit because you're on losing teams like all the time. It's just like, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter.
Right.
It doesn't matter.
I mean, let's think about this. It's not like we snuck up on people. It's not like we were hiding, or it's not like we got lucky. I mean, we went after the Kansas City game where we almost beat them in week 12, had our bye week, and then we just plowed through everybody, and, we go into the playoffs and everybody's like, oh, Washington's defense, they manhandled them. And then they go, oh, New Orleans, they had beat them twice and everything, and we manhandled him. And then, we got to go to Lambeau, and this is
in the snow. We're not,
snow,
we don't play in the
Aaron
cold.
Rodgers and all this, and we just manhandled them. It's not like nobody saw this coming, but it's just like they didn't want to accept it. They're like,
I just don't think anyone knows football. Speaking of which, that idiot Dan Orlovsky tweeted. He's so dumb. I don't know how he has a job. Well, I see why he wasn't a quarterback, because he's an idiot. But now he's like a pundit, and he's also an idiot, which just goes to But he said the Buccaneers defense kept giving the Chiefs looks that screamed run. And so why did the Chiefs not run the ball more?
Yeah, because we stopped the run. That's what we do.
Because you don't know anything about our fucking defense.
Right.
And it's meant to do that.
Right.
That is what we do.
Yeah.
That is what I'm saying. These morons do not watch football.
No
one watches the Buccaneers.
And it's not that we have a defense that's designed to stop the run, where we bring our linebackers down or extra safeties or whatever. No, we stopped the run with a 4 front. And that's what we played this whole game. We didn't blitz that much. We rushed with 4, and we stopped the run. And you've been hearing that all year long, that we're a blitzing team. We're a blitzing team. No, we're not. And I've said that here on the podcast. I do not know where people get that from. Yes, we do blitz, but we don't blitz near as much as they say we do. At one point, they said we blitz like 39% of the time. I was like, no. It looks like we do, but we don't. We're dropping guys back into coverage and blitzing bringing other guys in, but we're almost always rushing 4. And every now and then we'll rush 5. I consider that a blitz. If you rush more than 4, it's a blitz to me. But, we do all that. We stop the run with 4 guys. We
could stop the run with just Vita Vea.
Pretty much.
He'll tackle you with a lineman. He doesn't care.
Yes. He'll pick the lineman up by the ankles and beat you with it. So, it looked like we were, inviting the run, by just having a 4 front rush. And, if you don't know us, you would say that. You would be like, they're just inviting you to run. Why aren't they running more? Well, it's because that's what we did. We stopped the run by rushing 4. We have 4 guys that can get to your quarterback and stuff your runner. So if you watched football and you watched us, you know that.
How did anyone pick the Chiefs to win this game? I don't understand.
we were all.
I watched like half a game, and I'm like, yeah, no, this is not going to be close.
Well, there was a point, I think, for about 20 minutes Sunday where we started down, and we were like, maybe we're wrong, because everybody is. But then you went, nah. No.
Well, I did, it was like after we put it out there in the podcast, and then it was just out in the universe, and you kind of have to live with your words at that point, you kind of start to second guess. Yeah, you like doubt yourself. Yeah. Like, what if we're wrong here? But
God, there is nobody in the league that's even close to being able to stop us. It's next
oh my gosh,
slaughter.
And our division, I mean, they're all still rebuilding.
Mm-hmm.
Atlanta's going to be rebuilding.
Yeah. Well, they said that they're going to keep Matty Ice. They're going to try to keep Julio Jones.
Yeah, I don't think they're going to.
I mean, they're going to have to do something with it.
They got to do something with his contract. Yeah. I mean, they can't pay him $40 million.
But if they trade him or cut him or whatever, it's like a hit of like $30 million or something.
Well, and nobody wants that contract.
No. Right. So
I mean, they could still cut him, but they're going to have all that dead money, I'm sure.
Right.
No matter what.
Yeah. So they're saying we'll probably keep him just because we can't afford to cut him or trade him.
Good God.
Yeah. But if that's true, then they're going to have to get rid of everybody else on the team.
I know.
So. But they're getting new coaches and everything.
Yeah.
So they're in rebuilding.
Yeah.
Carolina's in rebuilding. I don't think Carolina's ever going to be a threat. I don't think that coach is going to work out there.
Yeah, it's hard with the college coaches. You just never know.
Yeah, and that's it. He's got way too many college coaches.
Yeah.
And it's not. I don't know. And then the Saints, we'll see how. I don't think they're going to last long.
No.
If Drew Brees retires, I'm going to say that's it. I don't know. Are they going to have Jameis Winston as quarterback? I would love it.
I don't know. Well, they paid all that money for Taysom Hill. Like, what is the point of signing him? I don't get it. I don't know.
I don't know, but none of them are a threat.
No.
There's nobody in the league that's a threat. In the league, the whole league. I think they're probably going to have to make a new law where we have to play 2 teams at once to slow us down. There's nobody.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm so happy.
We did this without no preseason, without no chemistry, team chemistry. Tom Brady never even threw to Mike Evans till week 1, in a game. Come on, man. Come on, man. You've got, oh my gosh. Yeah. It's going to be ridiculous. I'm interested to see who's going to take the pay cuts to stay here. Sue's the big one I'm looking at.
Well, he didn't have an agent last year to negotiate with the Buccaneers. And I think this year he's doing the same thing.
Yeah. Yeah. I think he'll give us a sweetheart deal.
Yeah.
I think
for another ring, this is his first one. Look how many teams he's been with.
Yeah, and if he does it, because he's a head, he's a mercenary. He's not a rah-rah team guy, but he has brought so much to our team. He's mentored these young guys. I mean, they just look up to him like an idol almost, and he's taught them so much.
I feel like so many of these guys are like that. Like I feel like JPP is like that too.
Yeah, Fournette. Shady McCoy.
Yeah.
Tom Brady, of course. I don't know what you can learn from Gronk, but how to shotgun a beer.
Oh my gosh. My favorite part, one of my favorite parts was the post-game interview with Mike Evans on NFL Network.
Yeah.
And Gronk is in the background. He's like, come on, Mike, baby, let's go. What did he say? Trying to party it up or get my party on. Yeah. Oh my gosh, I can't remember. But he's like talking to him through the interview. He's like, come on, I want to get my party on.
Yeah. And Mike was like, this is my first Super Bowl. I want to be partying too, but I gotta sit there.
I gotta do this thing. That was so cool. But that's what they said about Gronk, is he is just such an awesome locker room guy. Like he's so much fun to have there. He's just like a party all the time. Like he's so cool.
Yeah. And that stuff's vital. That's vital.
Yeah.
And, we've talked about this on the podcast, but when you have groups of guys together, especially, this is in the military, in sales, whatever, when you have groups of guys that have a lot of downtime, and you got that in football and practice and the locker rooms and meetings and all that stuff, there's a lot of downtime. You need that guy who makes it fun. That everybody is like, what's dude going to do today? Or, practical jokes or whatever. Shannon Sharp was kind of like that. And Pat McCaffrey was like that. And, these guys, it seems like every championship team has to have that one guy. And I heard Nacho's like that too.
Oh, really?
Everybody said Nacho's a really good team guy.
Oh,
locker room
I love
guy.
that.
Yeah.
I love that. I love the secondary. Well, we talked about it earlier, how they're kind of trash talking and stuff. Just these young guys. I just love it. No, Winfield with the peace sign.
He got right up in his face too, and he was like, I want to make sure you see this.
I know.
And that was so, like you said, I didn't know it bothered him.
I know. I didn't even remember that it happened. I had no idea.
Yeah.
And in the post-game interview, he said, he backflipped in my face and gave me a peace sign. So I just thought I would do it back to him.
Oh, my God. That was great. That's great. What a great game.
So awesome.
But, here, I'm going to bring it down a little bit.
Why?
A little depressing, a little bit, maybe.
Stop it.
The Nielsen ratings came out, and this is one of the worst football Super Bowls that has been since like 2007, I think. I'm not real sure. I kind of skimmed the article. And we've noticed that, because of COVID and stuff, we go out to the bar It's not packed. Normally it's packed. And, we went to the Super Bowl. There wasn't a lot of people there. We were like the only people that were into it, our little group. And, we were having a good time and everybody else was just kind of there. And then we closed the bar down.
I know, they kicked us out.
Right.
Like, we didn't even get to watch we had to watch the ceremony and everything later because they were like, oh, you got to go. And we still had shots on the table and they were like, you have to take those or else we got to take them back. And I was like, we paid for those. Like, you're not taking them anywhere.
So, it's, I don't know. And I said this, less than a decade ago, but I said football's got to do something because it's going to be a shell of itself if they're not careful. You've got fantasy football, you've got analytics, you've got stats, you've got all these things that they make football fun as long as football doesn't make them the focus, and that's what it's done. Football is people are trading at free agents. They're like, oh, I want to get this guy because he's got this many touchdowns and this much yards and bring him to the team and he'll add that. But that's not how it works. There's a lot more to football than just stats and analytics and stuff like that.
I would argue that's not it. I would argue a lot of people, particularly women, watch the Super Bowl for the commercials. And the commercials have gotten away from being funny. And now every commercial is a lecture or a finger wag or a, some kind of virtue signaling. And it's like, no, I don't want that. Like, that is not what the purpose of sports. Sports are a lot of things. And there are a lot of important things there, and there are a lot of important things outside of all these social issues.
Yeah.
We don't have to make everything about that. So I think the NFL and, the advertisers have really done themselves a disservice by getting away from what makes Super Bowl great. And it is. The commercials are part of it.
Yeah,
they're a huge part of it, especially for women.
Used to be for sure, yeah.
Yeah, and they've really gotten away from it, I would say, in the last 3 or 4 years. It's really...
Now, there was one commercial. It wasn't a Super Bowl commercial. They put it out before the Super Bowl with the T-Mobile one with Tom Brady and Gronkowski. That was hilarious.
Which I wouldn't, I would never have seen it if I was a Buccaneer fan, I think.
Yeah. But yeah, you're right. But I think it's a combination of all that stuff, and I do worry about the league because it's not. I don't know, man. You've got so much stuff that's not football.
Yeah.
Up in football, statistics they're a tool. You listen to this podcast, I say that all the time. But if you rely on statistics to understand football or to do anything with football, you're just going to be a failure. You're going to fall on your face. Fantasy football is great, but I think too many people watch football now because of fantasy football. They're watching their player to see if their player can score points. I'm guilty of it. I watch a lot of times. I usually have 3 games going on at one time, and I'll usually have at least one that's one of my fantasy guys. I'll have division games going on, but then I'm like, oh, I've got this guy with Buffalo, so I'm going to watch Buffalo. And I think that's, it might be bringing eyes to the sport, but it's undermining the sport at the same time. So, that's just me going on a rant. It saddened me to hear that this Super Bowl was not viewed as much. But then again, it's Nielsen, and people aren't watching TV like they used to anymore. But like I said, we were out at the bar. And it was when we pulled up, I was like, "Damn, there ain't as many people here as it was for the NFC Championship."
Yeah.
And we go in, and there was one little group of Chiefs players, and then there was our group of Buccaneers, and that was it. There were some other people spread out amongst the tables, but just I don't know. It didn't feel the same this year. Yeah. I know the sickness had a lot to do with it, but I don't know, man. I'd like to see football get back to manliness and toughness and character. Character, not personality, character. That's one thing I like about Tom Brady. And our team, it seems like our team, we've got a lot of character, very few personalities. We got a lot of character. You know, we got the Dominic Sue, great lot, a massive amount of character with him. JPP, massive amount of character. Barrett, Jensen. These guys are just, they're good characters, not personalities. They're, they've got their own personal Declaration of Independence, their own constitutions they live by. They've got these things that, like JPP is just, he's all about toughness and fighting through injuries and just go out there and play as hard as you can all the time. And you hear guys say, talk and stuff like that, but he does it. He literally has his fingers blown off. He breaks his neck. He's got knee issues. And it never stops him. He just goes out there and plays and plays and plays.
I was listening to Pat McAfee today, and he said JPP taught him not to hold fireworks anymore. He was like, "Yeah, I don't do that because JPP told me not to."
But we don't have guys that get up there after the press conference or during the press conference all dressed up in crazy stuff and talking all crazy and stuff like that.
Winfield he had the goggles and then a WWE belt. Remember that?
That was funny. That was funny. But I'm talking about on the regular guys who are more personality than they are.
Yeah. Was it Ocho Cinco that used to do that? Like dress up in the different outfits?
No, that was,
who was that?
Washington guy. But yeah, Ocho Cinco was.
Yeah.
And Terrell Owens and all those guys. But anyhow, that's my rant. I do worry about the state of the NFL. But hey, if it collapses now, at least we've got
we got another. We got 2 Super Bowls and the GOAT. So
never lost a Super Bowl. Buccaneers have never lost a Super Bowl.
I know there was that hour before the game. You're like, oh, we're either going to be really happy tomorrow or really sad.
Yeah, and we were really happy. I've been happy.
Yeah.
I'm going to be happy for months.
I know.
Normally during this part of the year, I kind of hibernate.
We take a little time off because, the football grind is a lot. But
yeah. I don't know if we're going to do that this year, but we'll normally we pick up the podcast. We actually do more podcasts during the off season. It's strange.
We did not last season, though.
Well, last season was for everybody.
Yeah.
But, we've got, during the season, we've got football to watch, all 22 and all that good stuff. So I don't ever read articles. I don't pay attention to the talking heads and the media or nothing. But during the off season, that's when I start focusing on them people.
Yeah.
Those people. Yeah. So lot going to be going on this off season, man.
I know. We're already signing futures contracts with players, and
Mike's already talking about giving up some salary to make sure we can squeeze some people in.
Free agency, I think, starts March. Mid-March. I want to say the 14th, but it might be the 17th. Anyway, we'll be doing a preview, quite a few previews on that. We'll do the Buccaneers. We'll do, I don't know how we're going to divide that up yet. Offense, defense, who knows? Position group. And then we'll go through the Know Your Enemies too. So we will have all that content coming up in the next several weeks to get us through maybe. Yeah,
we'll keep you up to date on what's going on around the league and especially in our division. It's always important for us.
Oh, did you hear Antoine Randall L is going to the Lions staff?
Really?
He was an offensive assistant with the Buccaneers, and he is going to be the wide receivers coach for the Detroit Lions. So we lost our first coach.
Yeah. Everybody was talking about why Byron Leftwich and Todd Bowles didn't get head coaching interviews and stuff like that. And I'm like, shh,
I know.
Don't let them leave. Let's
I know. Give us another year, please.
Another year, please. Yeah. Don't bring attention to these guys. They're awesome.
I know.
You want to keep them.
Yeah. I mean, it was kind of I did feel like they got a little robbed, but at the same time, selfishly, I'm like, please stay. Don't go.
Again, I think it's because people don't pay attention to football.
Yeah.
Everybody thinks that, Byron Leftwich, he's got Tom Brady. 2, he's got Tom Moore sitting back there designing game plans. At 3, he's got Bruce Arians, who everybody thinks is the real play caller and all this stuff. So how much does Byron Leftwich actually do?
Yeah.
And you're like, Todd Bowles, he had his stint at the Jets. He got stiffed there. He got a really bad deal with the ownership and all that good stuff. So everybody sees him as already a kind of a washed up head coach. But now, after what we did to the Chiefs,
whoa, he is going to be in high demand.
Oh my God, everybody's looking at these guys going, we might should have interviewed them.
And again, that's the thing too, is that our defense did not. I mean, they came on during the regular season, but it wasn't until we got Vita back. I think. Well, I mean, they played well before Vita came back, but they played very well in the playoffs. And it's like, what if we never made it to the playoffs? They never would have hit their stride. It's like with SMB. Like, what would we have been saying about SMB had we not made it to the playoffs?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because once he hit the playoffs, man, he was like a totally different player.
He just took off.
Yeah, he just excelled. Off. And then,
wow. I mean, just a complete turnaround. I honestly, if we did not make the playoffs, my position on SMB would have been, I think we could probably upgrade there. Mm-hmm. But now I'm like, no, extend him. Is it too early for that?
Give him $50 million. I don't care.
Highest paid in the league.
All right, we need to wrap this up.
All right.
We're going over time. All right, we're going to have the All 22 Tiffy for you. It's coming out tomorrow. Video 1. Hopefully I'll have it done tomorrow. And then, of course, it's probably going to be at least 4 videos, so it'll stretch out. Probably get 1 out a day. Give us a little bit more football. Stretch it out for a little bit longer, as long as we can. And we'll probably have more Super Bowl talk next time because there's plenty of stuff I'm sure I wanted to talk about that I forgot to talk about.
I know. We'll do the film review when you finish that.
Yeah.
So we got that.
Yeah, we came to this with no notes or anything.
No. Shooting from the hip.
Shooting from the hip here. All right, guys, that's going to wrap it up for us. Till next time.
Go Bucs.
Super Bowl winners.
What?
What?